Welcome back everyone to the F1 2017 career mode. Just here you can see bumping up the difficulty after, our last two results have been pretty positive ones. So I figured, let's officially now bump this up, make it a bit harder, 105 on the difficulty out of 110 as we move into the 9th round of Season 2 and the Austrian Grand Prix. A very power-focused circuit, so we're going to be stressing that that major engine upgrade that we got a couple rounds back in Canada. We've had 3 tracks, all power focused: Canada, Baku, and then the Austrian Grand Prix. But a fun track, very very hard on the tyres here because there's a lot of heavy braking zones and a lot of long sweeping corners and changes of direction. So it's pretty tough on the car as we now move into qualifying. This is going to be the best lap of the session. So far we're currently in P6 and we're looking to complete our 2nd lap just here as we charge, braking just after the 100-meter board into turn 1, chuck it in, ride the curb on the exit as we build up now. We're already in the first sector and quarter of a second up on our best lap so far as we build up above 190 miles an hour as we hit the braking zone at the 100-meter board, turn it in early, nice, and we got it. We've got it good on the apex. Unfortunately our exit a bit compromised and our delta drops a little bit. We're still over 3/10 up as we now head down towards turn 3, downhill braking, going to be nice and tricky again on the brakes, 100-meter board, chuck it in, trust that the car eventually turns in a very difficult corner on heavy fuel as we now head through into the sweeping left-hander. You've got to kind of just turn in blind and early and just hope the car sticks, which on ultra soft tyres it did very nicely as we now build up again over 4/10 of a second. We have dropped to P7 according to Jeff, but this is looking to be a very good lap for us as we now turn in at the 50-meter board, turned in too early, had to get out the throttle, readjust my steering, reacted very quickly to that, cost me a bit of time, but we now come out the final corner, nearly 4/10 up, and it's P6 as we cross the line in qualifying, and that was the best I could do. I had enough fuel for another lap, but aside from that small little mistake at the end there, I feel as if the lap itself was pretty good. Come the end of the session, he did drop us down to P10, but Fernando is up there in P6, proving that his qualifying pace is most definitely on point. But we know how this tends to work. Fernando's more the qualifying guy, we're more the guy for the race pace. And we've got 36 laps of the Red Bull Ring coming up. But first of which, we're going to swap him a lovely, fresh power unit. Just figuring, this is a very power-based circuit. Just, means that the first engine can realistically be retired and the second engine can become a practice engine. So, the strategy. We're going to be stretching our tyres a bit because, we're going to need to. There's rain in the first session, rain at the end of the race. And I figured, there's no point in just avoid making as many pit stops. Realistically, a 2-stop round here is better due to the tyre wear. And the traction out the traction zones is very important. But due to the fact of that rain coming near the end of the race, it's going to be important for us to try and stretch our tyres. But like I said, Austria is very tough on your tyre wear, so you need to be on top of that at all times. And we're actually starting behind both Red Bull cars. So they clearly haven't had the best showing in qualifying. You can see here the power circuit not benefiting them. Of course, the long sweeping corners works out better for them. But let's see what we can do. Try and upset them if we can and get another good result off the back of our 2 wins, back-to-back victories. We get our first one in Canada and then we follow that up in Baku. So we're on a bit of a high at the moment as a Formula 1 driver. But, Canada was sort of the perfect weekend. We did very well. Baku, very much luck was involved in that victory. But let's now see what we can do on a higher difficulty and what we can do around a different circuit, another power-based track, as we're ready once again. Calm before the storm every time. There is 5 lights and lights are out. Away we go for the Austrian Grand Prix. We launched in lean and we got a terrible start. Magnussen shot off like a rocket between the Red Bulls. We can go down the inside of Alonso, dive it up into turn 1. Apparently we had a collision with Massa. I think he was trying to make a move up behind us. We've now jumped up into 7th. Fernando in 8th. He's dropped 1 position. The top 6 jockeying for position as we go up towards turn 2. Got a break before the 100-meter wall. We're fat with 37 laps of fuel. Ocon's run out wide. Let's try and get the better run. Can we? Towards turn 3. We've got the Red Bull now up behind us as Ocon pulls slightly ahead. We now pull alongside towards the downhill braking of turn 3. Can we get it slowed down and turn it? We go side by side with the Force India. Force him out wide. And that is us bullying our way, muscling our way up into 6th position. But no contact made. Very professional driving by both myself and Esteban Ocon as we end lap 3 and begin lap 4. Perez 2 seconds up the road, trying to stick with them the best we can, but this engine isn't the best. We've actually made a mistake on the exit of turn 1. That's going to allow a better exit for Ocon, but he's still not that far behind us. We had pulled a slight bit of a gap to him as we now come up 2.3, and then Ocon only 4 tenths behind. We run it slightly wide on the apex of 4, and now we head down. Ocon now has caught us up in the first sector here, and clearly much more powerful engine in that Mercedes car. DRS wide open. He's down our inside into turn 3. This corner's very hard. We've held it round the outside. We've gone wide on the curb. Lost a lot of traction. That's Ocon up past us, up into P6. Then we've got Ricciardo trying to have a look and get past us if he can. And then the dirty air of the Force India as it drags the car out wide. We weren't able to get on the power. And as such, come lap 8, Ocon has disappeared into the distance, and he's now going to try catching up to the group of cars ahead. Meanwhile, we're trying to fight off Daniel Ricciardo. A little bit of contact he made with our rear end there going into turn 2, and it's now Ricciardo in the slipstream going to get in the DRS. Here comes Max Verstappen. We move across the track. We're not going to allow Ricciardo to send it down our inside once again, but we've gone deep into the braking zone. We run bad on the exit once again, caught on the curb. That minimises our traction. Ricciardo's going to have a look round the outside of turn 4. He's not going to have a lot of grip out there, and eventually he has to yield, and he makes a mistake on the curb. Is that going to allow Verstappen through? No, I don't think it has. Jeff offering an alternative strategy to switch to a 2-stop, because my tyres are dying here. But we now move on to lap 10. We ignore the request to come in on the 2-stop. We've got to stick to this 1-stop and just hope and pray that we can keep this car alive till the rain comes. But the Red Bulls are looking to come at us once again up towards turn 2. Ricciardo commits to the outside this time around. We're going to go hold it inside, but Ricciardo's going to get the better race. He goes out wide off the circuit. That actually allows him to get a better run. And the DRS is open as we go towards turn 3. Ricciardo pulls ahead. Verstappen's on my left-hand side. We're going to try and keep it down the inside. Can we lunge it back up the inside of Ricciardo? He sees us coming. He force him out wide. He gets a bad exit on the curb, similar to how we did a few laps ago. And we now pull back ahead, retain 7th place in the Austrian Grand Prix. But my tyres have had it. I try and bring it through the left-hander. We get caught on the curb. I'm surprised that didn't do any kind of damage to the floor. And it was that moment I realised I'd absolutely had enough of these tyres. So we are going to be coming in end of this lap. We've slowed the Red Bulls down enough that Alonso has managed to catch up. Just look at the understeer. You know, I used to be able to commit thoroughly. Now I don't know when to stamp on the throttle. So we're going to bring it in early, figuring this can still be the one-stop strategy that we're going to be completing, or rather, you know, one stop. But we've got the rain at the end. So we're coming in 4 laps earlier than expected, with the hope that with the super soft tyres, they will run till around lap 25. And that's obviously when we're hoping that the rain is going to come. But we're obviously going to come out P17. Verstappen actually came in same lap as us, so he's actually going to come out behind us. And you actually get Jeff confirmed, rain in 10 to 15 minutes. With lap times around Austria being in the 1-minute 10s, that's not too far away. That's around, you know, 10 to 12 laps, which is exactly the news I wanted. Then Jeff, of course, tells us lap 12. We've caught up to Palmer as we're coming through the field with 16.2 behind Alonso. So if he made a pit stop, he would come out behind us, which is kind of what we're hoping to do on this undercut. But we pull out from behind Palmer, who's looking to go long, on the soft tyre, and we brake way later than him, far too late as a matter of fact, into turn 2. We've made a mistake, just getting overzealous trying to come through the field, and we sort of have to dust ourselves off after that mistake as we catch back up to Palmer at the end of the lap. Just try and take it carefully through the final sector. Don't want to get too close up behind him and lose any of our front wing. Verstappen has managed to catch up to us though. Palmer kind of makes a half move, but then realises that he's not going to be able to defend from us into turn 1. I've gone deep into turn 1 as a matter of fact, and annoyingly enough, that mistake has cost me against Daniel Ricciardo. You can see there, he's come out of the pits. This is 4 laps after we made our pit stop. I'd like to think we had gone well enough, but Ricciardo, due to that mistake and me having to spend an extra lap behind the Renault, has cost me against Danny Rick just there. But thankfully, we haven't been left for dead, as Ricciardo is now stuck behind Williams just up there. And Jeff now telling us the rain is now definitely in 10 minutes. It's been 5 laps since he told us it was going to be 10 minutes previously. So the rain is getting a bit delayed. We now cut onto the end of lap 15. We're in the DRS of Daniel Ricciardo. Max Verstappen has been following us all the way through. Alonso has made his pit stop as well, and he's now behind Verstappen in 13th place as we close right up to the back of Daniel Ricciardo, who's stuck behind Massa. That meant I had a poor run through turn 1. Verstappen's going to have a look at me in my slipstream, but Massa is not very confident on the brakes. Into turn 2, they're really slow. We've got no choice but to send one up the inside. Massa locks up. I just scared him off the circuit and out the way. But we had no choice, because otherwise, at my normal braking point, I would just smeared into the back of the Red Bull. Just look how slow the Williams was going, and Massa just got scared off the circuit. He's been passed by both Red Bull cars, or at least Daniel Ricciardo, and Verstappen's going to be taking a look into turn 3, but there's a replay there of the incident. We'll see it on board from Danny Rick. Just look at the closing speed. There is no way that we were going to get that slowed down, and in all fairness, there was enough room for a McLaren F1 car and maybe a cigarette paper, and that's enough for us to take the move. But now, lap 17, we now are in P9. Ocon is up the road, only 4.2 seconds, so we're not doing too bad compared to Esteban Ocon. I'm more concerned with the Red Bull cars that are just behind us here. Of course, Danny Rick going to be having a go. He's got the DRS open. Is he going to be able to make a move into turn 3? Answer, yes. We try and go all the way around the outside. My tyres, unfortunately, just didn't have enough, and that is a bad section of the circuit to get on the marbles. We tried to get on the power, and yeah, the car just wouldn't rotate. So Ricciardo gets through due to a mistake of ours. He's now up into 9th place. We've now got to try and defend from Max Verstappen, who we're going to make go to the outside this time around. Squeeze him against the grass, and we're going to brake. We'll hold the inside line, hopefully this time. Force him out wide, make it so he can't cut underneath us. We got a poor exit on the curb, but thankfully Verstappen lost a lot of time on the turn-in. Now, we're going to ask again. It's been 10 laps since we've been told the rain was going to be 10 to 15 minutes. We asked Jeff again, and he says it's still going to be 10 to 15 minutes. And now I'm starting to doubt what we're going to be able to do just here. Because, of course, you can see the understeer that I'm getting on these tyres. They've been on the car for 10 laps. That understeer has allowed Verstappen to perhaps have a run on us down the inside of this next right-hander. Is he going to be able to make the move? We squeeze Verstappen through. We're going to try and hold it round the outside if we can of the final corner. We get DRS because apparently we were the car behind at the detection point. We're going to charge towards turn 1. Alonso wants to be part of this as we're going to go 3 wide into turn 1. We break the latest of everyone. Give the room. We've run it out wide. Had to counter steer. Alonso pushed out Verstappen. They had a poor run through the corner. We've managed to keep it out wide. Apparently that overtake has counted, but we now got a bad run. We have to defend going into turn 2, so we go to the outside. Don't allow Alonso or Verstappen through. Someone's hit the back of our car and has lost a big old chunk of front wing. I would assume that to be Alonso, but he's got a better run than Verstappen out of that corner. But anyway, we move on to lap 21, and we ask once again about the weather, and apparently it's going to arrive in 5 minutes. But my tyres just aren't behaving well. I'm starting to be concerned as to when this is actually going to come down. More to the point, we've caught Hülkenberg, and Alonso is now going to have a go at us for the final points playing position into turn 2. He just hasn't got the legs when it comes to straight line speed. We're going to leave him the room. He is our teammate, so we're going to be a bit more courteous with him than we would be with anyone else. Alonso gets a better exit off of turn 2. He now shoots past us in towards turn 3, but we're going to drop into the slipstream. We, of course, have DRS. Can we dive it down the inside of Fernando? Yes, we can. We've gone far too deep, though. I've been making mistakes at this corner all race long, and that's dropped us down to P13. And, I was kicking myself after that mistake. You know, instead of fighting for P9, we've now dropped ourselves out of the points. We've got the most worn set of tyres besides Verstappen, apart from Hülkenberg, I guess, as well, seeing as he's going to be running quite long into the Grand Prix. Hülkenberg peels into the pit lane. That's, of course, a horrible time to go in when you've got a train of cars behind you. It has slowed them all up, but the dirty air and the understeer that has caused for me. But these guys, of course, coming in now, the rain hasn't come early enough for them. If the rain had come at this point in the Grand Prix, it would have been perfect for those guys, because they could have then fit the Inter straight away and been in with a very solid shout of some good points. Alonso has now gone into 8th. Verstappen 9th. He's going to try and have a go. Magnussen 3 wide into turn 2. We're just going to sort of sit back, see what happens. Verstappen's pushed Alonso wide. Alonso's lost a heap of positions. He's now gone from the front of the train to the back of the train. And now we, as a team, the McLaren team, now only have one car in the points in 10th place only 1 point as Verstappen and Magnussen pull ahead of us. And they've probably got the pace to pull away from us. You can see by lap 24, they most definitely have done. And we've now got Romain Grosjean up behind us now, trying to take 10th place away from us. He has come off the soft tyre, is on a fresh set of ultra softs. He's going to be very quick as we go towards this rain period. We let Grosjean go into turn 1. We cut underneath him, try and get the better exit. It's actually worked out quite nicely for us. A little bit of a switchback move there. As it Weber Grosjean with the Ferrari power unit going to try. Is he going to have a look into turn 2? We brake late to try and defend, get the car in, run it out wide. Grosjean not able to make the move. We now come on lap 26. There's some drizzle in the air, drizzle on the chassis. It's not quite there as of yet. And Perez has just pit apparently for more tyres, but no, I think we're getting that message a bit late because there's no one coming out the pit lane, so I don't know what Jeff is telling me just there. Anyway, we're actually up into 8th place because of cars pitting, and come lap 28, the rain is getting pretty heavy, but still, it's not quite there. The DRS hasn't been disabled as of yet. We got an awful run off the final corner though, and Sainz, we squeeze him against the pit wall, and then he's going to try and have another look, but no, he doesn't decide to send one down the inside, but the car is starting to feel just very disgusting into corners. We asked for the weather report, and Jeff can't give us any information, which isn't helpful. Also, what's not helpful is Sainz darting around behind us there, thinking about a move. We've gone deep. We can't get it slowed down into turn 2, but thankfully Sainz not able to capitalise. So you can see there, he also, on his worn soft tyres, is not able to make anything happen. And by lap 30, finally, the rain feels like it's come. My tyres are shot to bits. These were supposed to do 22 laps, and they'd have been down to about 35%. That was if I'd pit on lap 14 to do a one-stop. So these tyres now, there's no way they would do 6 more laps as we now lead through. But somehow, I honestly can't recall how we've managed to get ourselves up into 8th place, because realistically, it's looking like we were going to fall out the points or be battling for 10th. Admittedly, we're 18.5 seconds behind Sergio Perez. Look at the tyre wear on the front tyres. Explains why we can't get the front end in. Those worn tyres, along with this rain, is not helping out. But we're going to come in this lap. Look at the disgusting levels of understeer. We just get it in any later, and we would not have been able to get the car in and come into the pit lane, which we're going to do now, just about get it slowed down. And everyone else has carried on. Verstappen, of course, behind us, and Magnussen, as I just saw there. They made additional pit stops, so they looks like they were on the 2-stop strategy, and I think that's been their undoing this afternoon. Massa goes past us on a set of soft tyres, so, you know, Massa's not exactly had the best afternoon. Stroll's going to come past, as well as that's Lewis Hamilton, who also hasn't pitted, so we're the first car to blink, funnily enough, on the intermediate tyres. We come out the pits, screaming past Lance Stroll, who was, of course, letting Hamilton through. I don't know why the leaders haven't come in. We're getting the blue flag because of one of the cars behind. Hamilton, just look how slow he is into turn 2. He leaves the door wide open. We're going to slither it up the inside. And you saw the DRS has been disabled, so now is the perfect crossover point, and everyone at the end of lap 31 is in the pit lane. And due to that extra lap that we've had on these tyres, we've managed to elevate ourselves back up to 11th. Remember Sainz, who was right behind us? He's still in pit lane. He has lost so much time due to this crossover period. And of course, the AI don't like to stack their cars. So come the end of lap 32, Alonso did 2 extra laps, which really weren't needed. We've managed to put ourselves back up into 8th position due to those guys who made pit stops late. Lance Stroll is out the Grand Prix for anyone who cares. But yeah, we're going to see it here. It's now Sainz was, of course, going to be challenging us. We made the pit stop 1 lap earlier than him, 4 intermediate tyres. You can see how much he's dropped behind us. We've got 13.5 seconds to Perez, so we've closed that down by like 5 and a bit seconds. But yeah, then we just weren't challenged for the rest of the Grand Prix. So Hamilton wins it. We're in a Red Bull sandwich for 7th and 9th, but we're going to come across the line. It's still points, so I can be happy with that.
Great drive, great drive. We're really happy with that performance.
And here are our podium drivers today after that excellent race. They've excelled here, as they so often do, and it's a well-deserved victory. Mercedes, then, are on top today.
So as you saw, the Hamilton won the Grand Prix. I didn't actually get the standings of the race, but yeah, Hamilton still leads the Drivers' Championship. Vettel moves into second. We dropped to third. Raikkonen up to fourth. Bottas down to fifth, just there, as you can see. Didn't get the race standings for whatever reason. McLaren solidified in third. I doubt we're going to be catching Ferrari or Mercedes anytime soon. It's more can Red Bull catch us, but we're looking pretty solid for third place in the old Constructors' Championship just there this season. We just need to be very consistent with our results. Obviously, those 2 wins really helped us out in the last 2 rounds, and still, 4 points today on an increased difficulty. We started 10th, we got 8th, we improved on our grid position. That's all I can really say in regards to that matter. But that has been Season 2, the Austrian Grand Prix. Thank you very much for watching. Leave a like if you did enjoy and comment any feedback down below. Yeah, this 105 difficulty was, it was a wake-up call. It was a real wake-up call. And obviously we're going to be running that for the rest of the season. And obviously, if it gets, if we get to that point where we're winning races, where realistically the performance of the car says we shouldn't be, then we'll go all in. 110, whatever. So next round is the British Grand Prix, my home Grand Prix. We'll see what we can do there. It's the McLaren team's home Grand Prix as well, because the engine Honda. That's going to be the Japanese Grand Prix. But we will see what happens there. 4 points. Pretty happy with that one. I will see you all next time.